welcome to today's card and cuppa. It's the 3rd of December, so it's the first Wednesday of the month, hence the card and a cuppa. Just bear with me for 1 second, please, whilst I just check that this is actually going out live. I'm hoping. If I refresh, yes it is, good. So that's the main thing. So here we go. So this is the card that I took as my sample today. I thought it would take them quite a while to do actually, but it ended up not. So I was pleasantly surprised. Maybe it's because I'd done a lot of the prep and they really didn't have to do too much, she says. So this is what they were aiming for, and obviously this thing can be turned around to their heart's content. So that was my card, that was my envelope, and on the inside I didn't actually have anything. I'm not sure why, but hey, there you go. So this was the card, and I just realised that I haven't got my trimmer with me, not because I want the cutting plate, but blade, but because I want the scoring blade. So the kit consisted of square envelope, square base card. These were bought like this. I didn't actually cut cardstock to make the base card. A panel of white cardstock, a small square that I had die cut using a slatted die. I'll put the details of what I've used in the description when the video goes up on YouTube. And then they had lots of die cut little bits. So I actually used 1 square of old olive, and then I used some scraps of gold and some scraps of cherry cobbler and Daffodil Delight. So I'll show you the die. So it was a die that's from Altenew. It's very sweet. It's actually round. So you can cut a circle and then you can cut out the bits from the middle. So I did that once with the old olives, which is why I've got all those green bits, including all the little dots and everything. And then I cut a strip of Daffodil Delight so that I could cut out these 2 bits, and then some gold so that I could cut out this bit and this bit, and some bits came out, other bits came out as well. And then what did I use? And these and this one. Oh, and then I had to do 2 lots of that. So there's quite a lot of running through my big shot. But hey, got all these little bits. So that was in everybody's kits, including all the little bits, because didn't want to pick everything out. And actually, some people did use those little bits, which was nice. So I'm just going to put that away for a second. And then, because I started off with a square of old olive. This is what I did with the piece that I had left. So I started with the square, cut all the green out, hence all this stuff here, and then I had some gold and some, this is bronze or copper foil, so I layered that on that. So that's what I did with that. So I actually managed to make 2 cards out of the original square of old olive. So yes, so I had all these bits. People had the opportunity, if they wanted to, so if you don't know if you can see on here, I'm hoping that you can, that there are scored lines. So there's 3 here, 3 here, 3 there, 3 there. So I just used my trimmer at 1/4 centimetre, 1 centimetre, and not quarter, 1/2 centimetre, 1 centimetre, and 1.5 centimetres. Let me just go and get my trimmer quickly and I can show you. This is a way of doing it without having to be too complicated. So I will show you quickly. I'm just going to take that off. she says. You know what, no, push that completely out of the way. So, for those of you who are familiar with the Stampin' Up trimmer, I've had these for years. The way that you can cut, you can either use these as the markers or these on the right hand side. So if you line up with the half, 1 and 1 1/2, and do that on all 4 sides, that will give you the desired look. And by doing on this side of the plate, it means that you've got the whole of this piece of card lying flat and butting up against this top piece here. Otherwise you'd be trying to do it like this, and it's not as easy. I'll make use of this quickly, like so. So there we go. So that's now my scored piece, like that. So it's very quick to do. You don't have to do it, but I decided that I was going to. And actually then this piece will fit quite neatly onto the centre square. And it's up to you. You can have these pieces going diagonally or vertically. I mean, it doesn't really matter, because you could just, by the time you put it on there, you can just turn this whole thing around. I found that the easiest way to put this on, because these pieces are so thin, and rather than cutting up loads of little foam pads and going completely nuts about the whole thing, it's easier to simply use strips. So I took these with me this morning. So these are foam adhesive strips, which were from Stampin' Up. So I've already used Stampin' Up, and I've used Altenew. And then I didn't bother putting this on the inside pieces, just purely the pieces on the outside, like so. And obviously then cut the bit off that you don't want. You don't have to go all the way down the side, it's really up to you. But I did come and do that on this one. It's very easier to do that one, because that's wider. Like so. And then this piece, you can try and cut it in half lengthways if you're very brave. I'm just going to do it with my scissors. I hope it works. Alternatively, you can stick it on there and then trim the excess off. So I've still got a piece of the backing on there. Need to take that. Actually, no, I don't need to take it off, because I want to stick it on here and leave it on for the time being. That's that. And then, I put it the right bit on. It's very difficult to tell. Actually, maybe that bit hasn't got any backing on anymore. Maybe I've stuck the side rather than the actual just going to leave that like that for the time being. I'm going to put that bit down the bottom, like so. So that's all raised up, so nothing in the middle, but other than the decoration for the corner, you're not really adding any weight to it, and because you're adding it to the corner and you have the two strips under the vertical and the horizontal, that will be sufficient to give it enough rigidity, so it's not going to sort of flop around. And then the question is to decide which bits you want to use, how much gold you want to use. The flower is actually made up of, as I said, 2 of the cherry cobbler pieces, so I'm going to put those together quickly. And these bits, you can use glue dots or you can just use the glue, it's really up to you. Obviously don't use tape because you want it just in the centre. You don't want to be sticking all the petals together, she says. Excuse me. Right, I know there's stuff in that, but it's obviously gunked up. Let's try this one. So you just need a little bit, you don't need too much. So I'm just going to carefully put this on so that the top leaves are, so they're not directly over the leaves underneath. You want to offset them so that you get the full effect of the flower. So that's that. So like the bit in the middle is also 2 little pieces. So again, I'm going to put a very small dot of glue. Oops, that might be a bit too big. And again, offset them like so. I don't really want to squidge them. I don't really want all that glue to come out, but I think I'm going to have to. If you've got a pokey tool, that's great, because then you can manipulate it and move things around. So I'm going to hold that there and then turn this around using my scissors. Like so. And then you want, well, really a gold dot to go in the middle, and I have actually managed to find one, amazingly enough. Again, far too much. Hey, let's use this. Usually, let's use the putty end, put it on. I'm just going to have to try and get that excess glue off. I'm a bit messy. Go. So that's that. So that will make that flower, which is very sweet. And then you need to decide how you want to arrange the leaves and things. And as I said, you can use the glue like I am, or glue dots. The only thing with the glue dots is that you will end up with extra height on this, so it's not necessarily how you would want it. And the way I explained it to people today was we put a dab of glue just slightly off from the main working area, and you use this started life as a basting brush, so it's just one of those acrylic plastic basting brushes, which normally these bits here will be sort of like here, so cut them off so that you've just got shorter bits, and then you can use that to pick up some glue. You don't need a lot. And then dab it onto just the bits that you want to dab it on. And then adhere that to that square. there's no right and wrong way of doing this. It really is however you like it to look. I'm not precious about it that you have to do it identical to what I've done. Really don't mind one way or the other. That's that. I think I need a gold bit here. So I've got this piece and I've got this tiny little bit, but I think I'm just going to use the longer one. I realise that there's bits here that I didn't poke out, so I need to get those out. When you're die cutting so much, you kind of lose the will to live at times to poke everything out for everybody. Got to give them something to do. Be it fussy cutting or poking out bits. So that can go on here. Oops. So you don't have to have it to lie flat completely, it doesn't really matter. And then just every so often go put the flower on so you can see where else you would want to put bits. So I've got this piece of green, I've got two of those. Could put this underneath that to make it look like petals. If I wanted to, I've got this little piece. I think I might put this on top. Don't want the gold to be completely in your face. And I'll put that up a bit. Like so. Oops. Now I'm going to put that one on here. Okay, that's like that. Push that rest of it to one side for the moment, because I really don't need that. I think I might put the leaves behind that. Make them leaves. So you're not going to see them everywhere. That can go on here. Again, just pick up a bit of glue. Now I don't mind putting the glue on my work mat here, because I can, once it's dry, I can just simply rub it off. I don't have a problem with that. And then I need a little bit more on the centre of that Daffodil Delight piece. There we go. So there is that. Now, I'm going to put this on here. So I need to peel off the backing from these pieces. And I do think that maybe I have put those pieces on the wrong way, but anyway. So for the time being, I'm just going to put it on like this. I'll say for the time being it's going on permanently. Now I realise that I can actually see some of the foam. So I'm literally just going to get my pokey tool and with the point just push it under to hide it. You can't really see it, but I know it's there. I think the bit that I need to do is this piece here, up here, because that bit is actually sticking out quite a bit. So there we go. So this then gets put on the card. Now, as I said, you can have the slats going horizontally or vertically. So I need to get it away from that glue, which I just need to rub off. There's my eraser. Good old glue eraser. That's it. Then I don't need to fret about putting this on top. So yeah, you can have vertically, horizontally. That means quite nice to have it that way. If you find that you want to add another bit, then quite often you can just get hold of it and poke it in. So like this piece here, might want to put that in here, just to fill that out a bit more. Actually, it's already stuck. So there we go. Or I don't think it personally. I don't think it goes very well that way. This way I like, and this way I like. So we've got that, and then you have space down the bottom here to put a sentiment. So I just used a very simple Uniko Merry Christmas made up from 2 stamps from the Christmas Sentiments set. And actually, I just realised I need to make sure that the card is the right way round. It would be a disaster if I ended up stamping across the top rather than the bottom. I want that kind of central, so that's going to go there. And cherry cobbler ink to go with the red of the poinsettia. And Merry Christmas. I want to stamp that on here. So finally line that up so it's straight. It's really straight. And then I'm just going to stamp straight down. I think it's kind of central. Like so. And then to do the envelope, you stamp it once in the middle. Like so. So then at least you have that sentiment. It's the whole sentiment. And then just go either side. Try and get it in a straight line going across. Like so. So then I've got my Merry Christmas and actually fitted it neatly on that side. Unlike the previous one. And then to finish off, I'm going to put my fingers in the ink, which means I'm probably going to end up with cherry cobbler everywhere now, which is not a good idea, and it won't be good luck, especially if it goes on the card. Let's try and make sure I've got it all off. And then you're going to apply some glue to the back of this and then add it to the centre of the card. I mean, you could glue it all together before you stick the these pieces on. Just make sure that you've actually stamped your sentiment as well. Because you don't really want to be stamping the sentiment after you've glued this piece on. So that's that's my card. I'm not sure what I'm going to do on this end in the middle. I just realised that that's not quite straight. I'm going to lift it slightly, see if I can move it. How's that? I think that's a bit better. And I'm going to use my bone folder to put it down. I said I can't find it, hey. So I'll just use my fingers in the hope that I don't have any ink on them. There we go. So that is the card. As I said, I haven't finished off the middle. I mean, I've got lots of green bits, so I could just put a snowflake in there. Series of snowflakes, just to decorate. I'm using up other bits that I've got. You wouldn't want to add rhinestones to those centres because you will end up making it a bit lumpy, and then if you do post it, it will come through, and you really don't want that. So I don't know, snowflakes and then flowers and things, maybe not such a good idea, but could add what's left of the frond, so maybe that's what I will do. But this one I do want to make sure that I've got glue all over it, because I don't want it to peel off the inside of the card. I'm just going to put that on. And I leave that to dry before I close the card up. So there you go. That is my finished card. I need to leave that to dry before I wipe that up as well with my eraser. Let's put those out of the way. So that's my card that I've just made with the envelope. Should I put that way? Knew that would happen. There we go. That one goes that way. This is the one that I took as my sample. And then this one is the one that I made using the piece of cardstock that I used to originally cut out the old olive branches and things. So making sure that I used up all of that piece that I started with. So I hope you've enjoyed that. So the instructions for this card will be going up, together with this video, will be going up on YouTube when I get a chance tomorrow. In the meantime, drop me a line if you've got any questions. And we've got Craft and Chat on Monday, and the next card and a cuppa will be 2 weeks today. So that will be the 17th of December. So hope you all get on with a really nice and happy scrapbooking and projects, whatever else that you're doing in the next couple of weeks, and I will see you then. Take care. Bye.